Welcome to the pig dissection video. The anatomy of a pig is very similar to humans. I'll guide you through a pig dissection over here.
Okay, this over here is the liver, which metabolizes nutrients, produces bile, and is a major storage site for blood. Over here is the gallbladder, which stores the bile produced by the liver. Bile breaks down fat by digestive enzymes. And over here, this pouch-like structure is the stomach, and it's the organ that performs digestion and produces hydrochloric acid that converts pepsinogen into pepsin. Over here is the large intestine, which stores material left from digestion, turning this into solid waste known as feces. Over here is the pancreas. It's like a cream/cottage cheese-looking structure that has three functions. It regulates blood sugar, breaks down carbohydrates, lipids, fats, proteins, nucleic acids, and produces sodium bicarbonate that helps neutralize stomach acid. Over here is the spleen. It creates lymphocytes for destruction and recycling after old red blood cells are used. Over here, this large thing is the small intestine. Well, it looks like it's big, but since it's not coiled like the large intestine, it looks big. So the small intestine is covered with projections called villi and microvilli that increase the surface area and absorption of nutrients.
Go.
So in the small intestine, there's the mesentery, which is the structure that holds the small intestine together. So across this whole pig, except in the heart, there's a membrane that covers it, like the skin, and it's called the peritoneum, and it forms the lining of the abdominal cavity. The cecum is located between the small and the large intestine over here, and it helps with the processing of plant-based food like cellulose. So over here is the rectum, where the waste is stored, and it's taken out and it's released through the anus over here. Go. So the kidneys are over here and over here, and the function is it's a filtering organ that produces urine and also regulates water content, maintains blood pH, conserves amino acids, ions, and sugars that the body needs. So over here is the ureter, which is like the tube that connects the kidney to the urinary bladder. The filtered liquid waste moves from the kidney to the urinary bladder through the ureter. Over here comes the urinary bladder, which temporarily stores the urine, and then after that over here is the urethra, and it's the tube where the liquid waste is released.
If you look over here, right below the intestines, would be like two small squiggly-like structures, which kind of look like miniature kidneys. On the upper part of them would be the ovaries, which release eggs, which travel down the fallopian tubes, which are the lower parts of the structure, into the uterus over there, right in that small sac over there, which is the uterus. The uterus has when the egg is traveling through the fallopian tubes and pregnancy occurs, the egg will implant itself on the lining of the uterus wall. Now right over here, there's like a single structure which contains two different tubes. The upper one, which is smaller, is the vagina. The vagina is a continuation of the uterus and looks like a muscular tube. It has an elastic membrane that stretches during birth of the offspring and is referred to as a birth canal. And over here, where semen would come into the vagina and waste products would come out, is the urogenital opening. And right next to that would be the urogenital papilla. Now here's the male reproductive system. First over here would be the scrotal sacs, where the scrotum, where the scrotal sacs are stored. Now this is one of the scrotum, the scrotal sacs. The scrotal sacs are supposed to contain the testes, which are supposed to descend from over here. So testes would be pretty much over here. Now next to the testes, in a tube, in a tube surrounding it, would be the epididymis. That contains sperm and contain sperm and they mature there. Now, so over here would be the vas deferens, which carries the sperm to the urethra to be expelled through the penis, which is inside over here.
We'll now begin the respiratory portion of this video. Over here is the larynx, which is a structure in the throat. It contains the vocal cords that controls the sounds produced. Over here is the trachea. This structure is like bumpy and rough. It's the windpipe through which air moves in and out. Trachea has a ridge-like structure. Over here, this flap is the diaphragm. It's in the bottom of the chest cavity, and it helps with the expansion and contraction of the chest cavity. This helps with the air rushing into the lungs when we inhale and the air rushing out when we exhale. Over here are two of the thymus glands, and they help production of T cells. Over here and over here are the lungs, which is one of the most important organs of the body, and what they basically do is they help with the gas exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen.
Now we're going to go to the circulatory system of the pig. Here's the heart. The heart is at the center of the chest. It pumps blood and brings in oxygen from the lungs into the heart, which is called pulmonary circulation, and oxygen-rich blood goes from the heart to the rest of the body, which is systematic circulation. Now, the heart is surrounded by the pericardium, which is a thin membrane that's supposed to cushion and protect the heart. Over here to the side, over here, connected to the right atrium, would be the superior and inferior vena cava, which bring in the oxygenated blood from the body. The superior vena cava brings it from the upper half of the body, and the inferior vena cava brings it from the lower half of the body.
Okay, go.
So with the kidney, two major blood vessels flow in and out of it, the renal artery and the renal vein. The renal artery branches out from the abdominal aorta and enters into each kidney. The renal artery supplies kidneys with blood, which is then filtered out by the kidneys. Now, the renal vein is located anterior to the renal arteries at an almost 90 degrees to the vena cava. The renal veins are the blood vessels that carry deoxygenated blood from the kidneys to the inferior vena cava. Now, in the umbilical cord, there's the umbilical vein and the umbilical artery. The umbilical vein supplies oxygenated and nutrient-rich blood from the placenta to the fetus, while umbilical artery takes the oxygenated blood, which is full of waste products, out of the umbilical cord into the placenta, which then diffuses out to the mother, who then gets rid of the baby's waste.
Go.
Now, with the heart, over here, as you can see, would be the coronary artery. The coronary artery supplies blood for the heart itself, because when blood flows through the heart, it goes so fast that it can't take oxygen. The heart can't take oxygen out of it. Over here is the right atrium, the right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. Over here is the pulmonary vein, and in the back would be the pulmonary artery, and the aorta would be branching out over here and would then go to the rest of the body.
This concludes the pig dissection video. Thank you for watching.